But tonight I won't let that so good inside. Don't need anybody, I just need the beat. I just wanna dance all night. I don't want to remember everything you did. I'm done with the hurt inside. Feel it in my body, feel it in my feet, and it feels so good inside. And I always wanna feel like this. I close my eyes and all my troubles fade away. Your voice once got so deep into me, but tonight I won't let that Gonna make myself forget about you, baby. Gonna make my head forget your name. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna dance the pain away. Forget your name. Gonna make myself forget about you, baby. Gonna make my head forget your name. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna dance the pain away. Forget your name. Forget your name. Gonna make myself forget about you, baby. Gonna make my head forget about your name, yeah, yeah.
If you are a business owner, you know that math and numbers can make you want to quit your business and your dream business. So, what do you do so that that doesn't happen? Don't let the numbers get in the way or the accounting get in the way of you growing your dream business. Get QuickBooks. In today's episode, we're going to be talking to the QuickBooks expert on the hacks, the secrets, and all the loopholes you need to know to work QuickBooks in your favor and grow your business doing it. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Welcome, Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. Thank you for joining us for episode 127 of Waist Up Wardrobe, where we're going to bring you a very practical show that will help you really build out the numbers, accounting, and help you kind of sort through that all. And today is really focused on the QuickBooks program that many of us use or want to use, but sometimes things like that are new, may be complicated. I know it was complicated for me to switch to QuickBooks, but I love that I did because it has made my life so much easier. So thank you for joining us. Today, I just want to start out by thanking my awesome producer, Rick Moscoso, who's always in the green room, making this entire show possible from a technical standpoint and really making it great and making us show up great in a great light. Remember, we are on iTunes, so you can download us and subscribe to us and listen to us there. And you can listen to us without even having to watch us. If you're, taking a walk on the beach, tune into us on iTunes. Remember, we're on YouTube as well. So make sure you go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, and subscribe and find the shows there where you can see all the visual. We always are living evergreen on Facebook, where we stream live, and we're always here at 11:30 on Thursdays. So tell your friends about it and subscribe to us. because, all these shows are really geared towards entrepreneurs and them building the best business they ever can and also showing up professionally on and off camera. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started and start bragging about my guest today. Samantha Helburn is a colleague of mine and somebody I've met along the way in the business world. And she is a QuickBooks certified pro advisor, CEO, and educator, and also a mentor in this arena, not just in QuickBooks, and she has an accounting background. She's the owner and CEO of Simplified Accounting Management, Inc. and BS Accounting and Tax Solutions. She's owned and operated her own businesses since 2000. Her companies help business owners all over the country run their businesses more efficiently and effectively by giving them accounting and bookkeeping support, as well as QuickBooks online consulting and training services. So she's really well versed in this area of accounting, but even more specialized in the QuickBooks platform. She helps companies figure out how to use it and use it to their advantage. So we're going to talk to Sam, and so please help me welcome her to the show. And hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi. Great. How are you?
Great. I see that you're wearing your big earrings for the show.
Yep.
I had to. We are the home of the big audacious earrings, right? We love that here. Well, it's good to see you, and it's good to have you here today. I'm really looking forward to digging deep into this whole platform of QuickBooks. It's been so effective for me as a business owner, but the thing is, sometimes there's so many like nuances that people don't know about, and so that's why it's going to be for you to talk to us about that. But before we get started, I always like to do a 60 seconds of getting to know my guests on a personal level. So I'm going to ask you some this or that questions, and then just tell me what you're thinking, like right off the bat. Fair?
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
Okay. Cooking or takeout?
Cooking.
You like to cook?
I love to cook.
Yeah. And I noticed that you have like some ties to Pampered Chef?
Pampered Chef. Yes. Oh, I don't know how to cook without it. When I go to a house without Pampered Chef, I'm like, oh, I don't even know how to do this. Like I've used it for so long. I don't know how to cook without it.
And when you say Pampered Chef, is that sort of the company that has the utensils and things like that?
Yes.
The tools? Okay. Yeah. Because I remember that from a long time ago, but when I saw that on your, on your bio, I was like, oh, I have to ask her about that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The next one is superheroes or cartoons?
Can I say neither?
You can, except that I strategically asked you that question. Do you know why?
No.
Because when I first met you, I thought, wow, she looks like Wonder Woman.
Yes. Okay. Superheroes.
So now that's going to be your answer, right?
Right. Yeah. I would have leaned superheroes anyway, but now definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Now you got it.
Linda Carter. I've gotten that all my life.
So you have, right? I'm not the only one who said that.
Nope. Yeah. But I do now remember. Yeah.
Well, okay. So superheroes. Cats or dogs?
Cat. Why did I say that? Dogs for sure. Not cats. No, I don't dislike them, but I don't have any. I love dogs.
Okay. Do you have a dog?
I have two.
Oh, what's their?
I have a black lab, Captain Morgan, and he's 13, going to be 13 this year. And I have a new puppy. His name is Rip, and he is 6 months old.
Oh, I love that name. I love this name. Well, you're busy then with those puppies, or
yes.
I remember when I first got puppy. Yeah, it was like a baby. Well, thank you for indulging us, because it's always really cool to find out a little window into everybody's personal life. So now we know you're a dog person. You look like Linda Carter, and
yeah.
I just, when I started talking to you, when I saw you at one of the conferences, you're talking about QuickBooks and how that is sort of your expertise. And I thought, if I had met somebody like you, or had met you way back when my assistant was urging me to start using QuickBooks, I probably would have made the transition a lot more in a lot more dignified way. But she kind of had to have kicking and screaming to get there. So, I want to if you can give us an overview for why you find QuickBooks to be a really exceptional platform, or something that you found that important enough to really dig deep and become an expert in?
Sure. Well, first of all, it is the most widely used platform for accounting softwares. So I specifically wanted to specialize in something I knew had a wide reach and that I could really help the most amount of people with. But above and beyond that, we do specialize in QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. There's this thing going around that it's going away and they're not going to have it anymore. And that's not true. QuickBooks Desktop still has a lot of use in the marketplace. And there's some companies that just really, it's the better fit still for them. But QuickBooks Online is where they're dumping so much of their technology enhancements and them meaning Intuit, sorry. Technology enhancements, automations, AI, everything that they're really putting their heart and soul into is QuickBooks Online. So I love it because it makes such an easy collaboration with our clients real time versus in desktop. It's very hard to work real time with your clients. You have to have either two different user permissions. You have to have remote logins. You have to have backup servers. I mean, there's all kinds of clunkiness around desktop versus online. So I love it because of the ease of collaboration, the automation, some of the tools that it has, the fact that so many third-party apps sync seamlessly to QuickBooks Online makes workflows very easy. And yeah, that's why I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you act like you said, I mean, it is very widely used. Nobody doesn't know about QuickBooks that's in the business and accounting world.
Right, right.
And so, help me understand, because forgive me for not knowing the difference, but desktop online, what's the difference?
Desktop is an actual software download and it lives on your local computer. So you can only access it from your actual computer that it's downloaded on, unless you have remote logins or servers, or you have it hosted somewhere else, which is all things you have to pay additional money to have. Or you have to have multi-user licensing, which again costs more money so that you can have multiple people be able to access the software. In online, it's just online. So anywhere in the world with an internet connection, you can get to your financials without having your actual laptop or computer with you. It also offers the mobile platform, which desktop does not. So you can be in the field and still have access to your information, or your employees can. You can be on vacation. You can access it from your phone, from a tablet. All of those things don't exist with the desktop version. It's just on your computer. So if something happens to your computer and you're in a house fire or a flood or something, your information is gone. And I've even experienced twice where the backups that people had made were also destroyed in a natural disaster or house fire. And so literally their whole financial history is gone.
Wow. So is it it's cloud, it's saved on the cloud basically when you go
on the cloud.
Okay, I see. When you're online. Yeah. Well, I mean, that, I didn't know the difference. So that is pretty remarkable that there's that ability to do that. So do you, you decided to really hone in on this platform and really develop your expertise in it. Did you do it because you found it to be very widely used, or did you start using it yourself, or like, how did you get started?
So one of my first jobs was operations manager for a concrete pumping company. And I remember going to Staples and buying the floppy disk of QuickBooks to install on his computer and then self-teaching myself how to use it to help him and do my job. So I've been using it since it was on floppy disk. And I worked at a bank. Fast forward years later, I was working in banking, and my customers were coming in, business customers, and they wanted loans, lines of credit cards, things. And I had to ask them to produce their financials in order for me to make that happen. And so many of them, I'm going to say like 70 to 80%, didn't even know what that meant. They had a hard time. They didn't know how to do it. They were like, what does that mean? How do I get you? What's a P&L? And these are people running businesses. And so we assume that because you have a business, you understand that you're supposed to have these things, but that is just not the case. So I started helping them. I would go to their offices on my lunch breaks, after work, weekends, things like days off, and start helping them produce these financials so I could get them what they needed, right? Well, after doing that for a long time, I kind of was like, I would much rather be doing this, because this feels like I'm actually helping people than sitting at my computer at the bank, putting numbers in a computer program and spitting out loan docs. So I took the leap. Back in 2015, I had a really bad day at work, and I just decided, you know what, this is not for me anymore. I'm going to go do what I want to do. I handed in my 30-day notice, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and then you became a national QuickBooks educator.
Who would have ever thought?
Yeah, I love that. No, you're remarkable. I mean, just from getting to know you and everything you've done, it is really cool, all the things you have done. And I hope to get to know you even better in the future. And Susie is here, and Kristen is commenting. I remember those floppies. I know when you said floppy disk, I was like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
ages ago.
I know. Flashback, right? Floppy disk.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of features and a lot of things you can do with QuickBooks. I mean, when I started using it, and I will tell you, like I said earlier, that my assistant had to basically convince me, kicking and screaming, to go into, start using QuickBooks, which, I mean, I don't know why I wasn't using that from the beginning, but I wasn't. And it's made our lives so much easier. I mean, just like you said, the monthly P&Ls, and being able to invoice clients through QuickBooks, and receive pay. I mean, just everything sort of converged to it. What is your favorite feature of QuickBooks?
I really love project management and job costing. I have really found a home in job costing, and really helping my clients understand how they can run their businesses all in one place. I mean, from payroll to benefits to invoicing, like you said, receiving payments, automations. But job costing is really kind of where I found a real love of producing, and then being able to build reports around the job costing, around that type of information, because job costing isn't just for construction. It can be for so many different things. Nonprofits use it a lot. People who lawyers have to use it so they can track ins and outs for cases. Anybody who does T&M jobs, time and material type jobs, anything like that. But I love job costing and QuickBooks Online, but really one of my favorite things that I love teaching is that you can really run your whole business in one place.
Yeah, I think that for me, as a consumer of the product, or user of the product, I feel like that was like such an amazing thing. Like, I didn't have to worry about going from Square to something different for all the different things I need to do as it relates to the business. So what are like the competitors to QuickBooks? Who out there can even compare?
Well, there are. Xero, I think, is the next biggest one out there, and that's a Xero with an X, not a Z. There's Sage, there's Oracle, there's different accounting programs that are made for very, very large corporations that, kind of would be outgrowing QuickBooks. There's also specialized and individualized softwares that are made for specific industries that do the accounting, front and back end accounting also for those industries. So there are just going to be some platforms that QuickBooks is not a good fit for. I would say QuickBooks is good fit for, small through medium, large sized businesses. And then once you get to a really corporate place, you're going to have specific softwares that you're going to be using, not QuickBooks.
Yeah, what I love about QuickBooks is it feels very user-friendly. I feel like I can figure it out, although I didn't do that. My assistant did most of that, but I do feel like I can, as a user, I can figure it out, and it is a lot more user-friendly than a lot of the other things I saw out there in comparison. So if you're a small business and you're deciding to use QuickBooks, do you feel like somebody has to be dedicated to, getting that up to speed, figuring it all out, or do you think the actual business owner can do it themselves?
That is a very relative question. And so much of what I do is clean up messes that business owners or their employees have made because they didn't take the time to kind of learn what they should have known up front, which gets very, very costly. And so my actual advice would be, just like with any new thing you take on, you really should learn about it first. And unfortunately, QuickBooks is one of those things you can just buy it online and you have it and it's like, okay, now go for it. And you can YouTube and you can Google things, but then you can't ask specific questions about your business, your industry, your roles, any of that. So personally, I think you should learn about it because you're going to save so much time and so much money learning it correctly than going back and trying to undo things that have been done and then relearn the way you should be doing it after you've kind of built some habits and built some, workflows around what you thought you were supposed to be doing versus really how it was intended to work.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And so you do that, right? You would go into a company and train their people who will be using it, and
Yes.
even the business owner to use it, right?
Right. Yeah. Some companies, the business owner wants nothing to do with the books. They're like, that's what your job is. Go do that.
Yeah.
So we can train the employees in their specific roles, what they need to do to the maximum capacity in their role. And then operationally, we can teach whoever needs to know how to put it all together and make sure all the working parts are going and doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. No, that is for somebody like, I think many business owners do this where they just want to focus on their craft. They don't want to worry about accounting or, anything else. They want to just focus on growing their business and the craft. So having a resource like you, or, just having somebody be able to teach them is so powerful. It really can save. It's very time efficient, which is what we always are trying to gain more of, right? More time. And
a lot of what we do is figure out efficiencies for whoever's using it. And we have found over and over again that people go the long way around because they're self-taught and they're doing only what they know to do. Mm-hmm. And when you think about how much time you can save from a payroll perspective, cutting down, learning the efficiencies, learning the automations, learning the way it's supposed to be done, you save so much money just in payroll, and that frees up your employees or even yourself to go do things that are revenue generating or that aren't getting done that need to get done as well.
Yeah, exactly. So what is the biggest mistake you've seen business owners do when using QuickBooks?
Well, okay, I'm not reconciling. That's like the biggest one. I see so many people that never reconcile their books. They enter the data, they think they've got everything in there, they're putting stuff in, they think, okay, I've got all the stuff in, but then they never reconcile and they have no idea if there's duplicate entries, if there's things missing, if their sales are doubled up, if their expenses are doubled up, if they might be using apps that they think are connecting right, that aren't connecting right. And so if you don't reconcile, you're not going to find so much of the mistakes that you should be finding on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm. So reconcile if you're going to use
it. reconcile. Every account on the balance sheet should be reconciled.
Okay. No, that is fair. And it makes sense because, how you have to have the checks and balances. Otherwise, something will slip through the cracks, especially if you're dealing with a lot of information. If there's a lot of input going in, the more input you have going in, the more room for error, I think.
Yes, 100%. And that means multiple users too. Maybe you have each QuickBooks subscription has a different amount of users that can be in there. So you can have 1, 3, 5, or 25. And if you've got between 3 and 25 people in there, that's 3 times 10 times 12 times the amount of mistakes that can be being made on a daily basis that you may not have a clue about until you reconcile.
Yeah, for sure. And is there like a time by which you should reconcile? Like, should it be monthly, weekly, or do you have a recommended time if somebody wants a rule of thumb?
Rule of thumb is monthly, and usually bank statements are available between the 1st and the 3rd of every month for the previous month. And so you don't even need to wait for them to come in the mail. You can just pop into your online banking and grab it. Or now QuickBooks Online actually has most banks' statements are able to feed into QuickBooks directly. So you don't even have to go external to your bank account. But If you're checking on things weekly, you're only going to find things faster, mistakes faster, correct things faster. So I don't think you need to go through the actual reconciliation process weekly, but do check in on your numbers probably weekly, but minimum monthly.
Yeah. So it's so funny because as part of my morning ritual, and this is nothing to do with QuickBooks, but for when I always, every single day, I'll check my bank account. So I understand that consistency, because then you see things and you're more in touch with the numbers,
Yes.
right? So I actually
Yes.
have it part of my routine in the morning. I check all my bank accounts, all my credit cards, just so I can keep on top of it. It doesn't take very long, but you know,
Right.
but so the idea of reconciling or really being connected to it can be really a big time saver, because you can catch things so much faster,
Yep.
right? Nothing slips through the
And
cracks.
exactly. And you don't have to remember what you purchased 3 months ago and why, what this store was for. And it gets very hard to remember everything you do on a daily basis, or especially if you have credit cards in the field with your employees and things like that. But I do want to say that don't ever believe your bank account. It lies to you.
Mm, okay.
QuickBooks should know always more than your bank account as far as your cash flow position, because you're going to be running your checks through there, your deposits through there. So your bank has no idea what's outstanding, whereas QuickBooks does if it's used properly.
Yes. Yeah, definitely fills in the blanks of the other information that's really important to stay on top of things and not to fall. Absolutely, I agree. So I check my bank accounts and my assistant checks QuickBooks, but I don't know if she obviously doesn't do it daily, but she's always on top of me to tell her things. Okay,
Yes,
what's this for? What do you do this for? What do you do this for?
exactly.
How should I categorize this? I'm like, oh,
Yay.
I'm
I'm
so happy.
clapping for her.
Yes, she's amazing. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, stop asking me questions, but I love that you're asking me questions.
Exactly. I know. It is annoying. And trust me, we feel that from our customers, like, oh my God, really? But yes, because I'm helping you.
Exactly. No, it's not annoying. It's just like, I can't believe how much detail is required, right? But
So much detail.
if you do it as you go, so much
Mhm.
better than trying at the end of the year to do this, because I have been there. I have
Yes,
been there.
I know.
Before QuickBooks, I used to use Excel as my accounting, uh, yeah, resource. So
Yeah, I've got a couple reels about not using Excel as an accounting platform.
tell us, summarize one of them that's like, you know, funny, or can give us a little nugget here.
Yeah, well, Excel's not an accounting platform. You're not going to get the balance sheet side and the profit and loss side. You're not going to be able to make as many notes. You're not going to balance to an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to have so many tabs and so many pivot tables and so many formulas and everything to keep going to be able to get the information. You're going to have to build out an empire of information and formulas in Excel to get what you can get by pushing a button in QuickBooks. So yeah,
Exactly.
it's not an accounting
Yeah.
software.
That is exactly what I experienced in the inception of my business. I had everything on Excel. That Excel sheet grew and grew
Yes.
and grew and grew.
Yes.
Um, and it was pretty painful, because when it got to a certain size, I actually started having like problems with my formulas. And so that
Yeah.
was dangerous, because then I wasn't getting the right data. So
Yeah.
Lillian, my assistant, really helped me get out of that just by the virtue of using QuickBooks. I
QuickBooks.
had,
And how many people are Excel experts? I mean,
yeah.
I probably fewer than there are QuickBooks experts out there. It gets so complicated to really keep up with the information in a spreadsheet.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So there's so many features to QuickBooks. I mean, you built sort of this mentorship method for teaching this. So when you get started with a company or with a business owner, like where'd you start? Like, do you have sort of a system, like the
Mhm.
ABCs or the secrets or hacks or loopholes that you really have to let people know about right up front, so that they can get like a good impact right off the bat?
Well, there's certain things that are designed for the way it should be for anybody and everybody, regardless of industry, size, expertise, any of that. And so we start with intended workflow. Always, like, this is always what you should do first. This is what you should do next. But really what I do is I try to understand what that company needs out of QuickBooks, because not every company needs the same things. What I find most of all is people are using QuickBooks as a glorified checkbook and have no idea how much more it can do for them. So we sort of start by saying, okay, instead of doing this manually and then entering it in, let's do it the right way. Let's enter it in first and then print it out of QuickBooks. And then you have all the information you need and you're done. We start doing little things like that. Once we've talked about workflow, intended use, and automations, we go just department by department. And then I start showing them how it all builds together and it makes their financials and how everything reports to like not just the one place, but 2 to 5 places, and how it all affects one thing affects multiple different areas on your books. Because one of the things I find is, in particular with companies that need invoicing, their products and services are often mapped to the wrong places. And so their P&L looks real funky and they have no idea why. And it's because they have something that they're selling is reporting to like an expense account instead of an income account. And so it's creating this like weird thing on the profit and loss. And so we just really pull apart everything that they need, everything they want, and everything they're already doing, and figure out how to make it the best it can be for them.
Yeah. No, that is, I love that you have a system, a process, and a procedure by which you run people through. Because for me, when I try and learn something new, I just want like the ABCs and then I want to be able to build on it. But it's always such a shame when you have a resource and you're only using 10% of it.
Right.
There's this 90% that you just don't know what you don't know. So you're not even tapping into it.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
why it's great to have mentorship from somebody that can really help you or your employees or your team to figure it out, because then you get your biggest bang for your buck, right? For using it.
Exactly. You save payroll dollars, you save time, which equals dollars. You save frustration by having to do something like so tedious and monotonous, or having to spend your Sundays doing, entering things that you could have entered from the start or somebody else could have. I mean, there's just so many ways it can save you time. Yes, there's a learning curve, and yes, there's time up front, but then it's just like smooth sailing.
Yeah. And I do think that, for busy business owners, that it would be great for somebody on the team to be dedicated to really knowing the ins and outs of QuickBooks. I think as the owner, I mean, I don't know a whole lot. I just know the basics, but it's nice to have somebody dedicated to it, because then they have the time, they have the dedicated time to sit there and learn it and make it maximize it for your business. So we've talked about your favorite things about QuickBooks. Is there anything you feel like they could improve on, or is there something that
Oh, yeah. There's always things you run into and you're like, oh my God, well, that was whoever designed that was not thinking, or, there's always those issues, but they actually have a really great feature called the feedback feature. And if you go up to the gear icon in QuickBooks Online and you'll see the word feedback, they have an entire department dedicated to actually doing nothing but reading feedback and delegating it to the engineers and the developers that it needs to go to. So they actually do read it. I'm on the Accountant Council for QuickBooks. And so I know I've sat on these meetings and I understand now that is a huge tool. And then they prioritize based on demand. So if something's getting like 1 million requests, they're going to prioritize and they're going to fix that. If something's getting 2 requests, then they're going to be like, well, maybe someday. And they just started publishing that information in their blog, where they're showing our QuickBooks users, like, this is what we're working on now based on your feedback. Here's where we're going. Here's where we're at. This is based on your requests. So they're putting a lot of energy into listening to the accountant world, but also end user world, because it's 2 different perspectives, right? And 2 different workflows for the accountant versus the end user. So I love that they're paying attention to the feedback, but absolutely there's things all the time that we all are like, what is going on here? Or we wish would be different or better. Yeah. So give the feedback, use feedback.
Yeah. So I love that too. I mean, I think it's really great when there is sort of the support, right, behind behind any tool. I mean, oftentimes you'll see those little chat pop-ups come in different platforms, and you're like, and you're chatting with them, but nobody's responding. So you're like, so it's nice to know that they are very responsive and they take that seriously, because I think that really improves the product. I think that makes it so much better for the end user, gives the company such a great reputation for solving, the consumer's problems, which I think I have the philosophy that a great company by how they treat you when you have a problem,
Problem.
more than when they're trying to onboard you. Everybody's trying to get that client, right? But once they get you, how are they treating you? Are they moving on to the
Right.
next client, or are they actually nurturing their client? So I think features
Right.
like that really, really build up a company. So that's awesome. So is there any one secret or hack that people wouldn't know about that you would want to share with us when it comes to QuickBooks? Like something that maybe is a little obscure or not very well known in the features or anything like that.
Well, yes, there's a whole suite of tools that your accountant has access to or the accountant user has access to. So if you're partnered with an accounting professional that can help you, there's ways that they can go in and shortcut so much of the work that has to, if you have a big cleanup or if you have a lot of back data that you've got to put in, the accounting version has those tools. So instead of sitting there and spending time going into every single transaction individually that you have to change, I highly suggest partnering with an accounting professional that has access to the accountant version, because you can cut the time of cleanup in a fourth compared to doing it manually. And a lot of people don't realize that. And so they don't know to go reach out and get that connection. And the money you're going to pay for their time will still be less than what it's going to cost you to sit there and go one by one if you have a very large project to do. And it will save you so much frustration and headache as well, and your sanity. Because there's no way for the end user to do a lot of the bulk kind of stuff, bulk transactions.
No, that is really great advice. And so if somebody wanted to connect with you, Sam, and really learn more about how you mentor your clients, how can they do that?
Okay, well, we have our email is info@saminc services.com. Our phone number is call or text, and it's 866-472-7669. And we're on Instagram at sam.inc.services or pbs.accounting.and.tax. On Instagram, right? Also,
Awesome.
We also have a LinkedIn, but I don't remember how to get there right this second.
Maybe they could just look up your name, Samantha Halburn, probably.
Yes, I'm also on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes. And do you have a website?
We do. www.pbsaccountingandtax.com.
There we go. Well, we always wrap up our Waist Up Wardrobe shows with like the Waist Up Wardrobe, like in the nugget sort of summary, and the things that I think stand out the most. And oh wait, Susie's saying something here. She's saying, "You asked such great questions, Christine." Well, thank you. I'm happy I could read it kind of is made up of a few really key things for those who are just wanted the summary, the sort of the cliff notes of the show. What's the main takeaway if somebody's trying to use QuickBooks or is considering using QuickBooks? What is the one takeaway they should take from today's show?
Can I give 3? Because there's really 3 major things.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Connect your banking to bank feeds, because that will download all of your information and really help you save time. You should not be doing any manual data entry anymore. Write your checks out of QuickBooks, because that's a huge problem I see, where people wait till they clear the bank before they record them, and they should be recording them proactively. And reconcile, as I said. Those 3 things. Every user at any stage, any size company, those 3 things will apply.
Okay, I thought you were going to say reconcile. 3 things.
Yes.
Susie's saying she loves you. She's like, can I give 3? I love her. You and Susie have to meet for sure. I'll connect the 2 of you. That is amazing. So I would say that was the takeaway and tips. tools, like, is there any tool? Well, first, let me say with the hashtag QB and Shine, hashtag QB and Shine, Samantha, you have a giveaway for the audience. What is that?
I do. I have a tax season checklist to make sure you're taking advantage of all the different tax deductions that you can, since it's tax time. You can either use it for this year if you haven't done it yet, or going forward to make sure, or if you're just starting and you kind of want to make sure you know what you should be writing off. Those are all things you're going to be putting in QuickBooks and recording as your deductions.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. I mean, I want that. I want that now. But
Okay.
for anybody,
Okay.
yeah, for anybody listening to this now or for the replay, put in the hashtag QB and Shine so we know. So Sam can identify you and be able to send you the link to this checklist. And I think that is just such a beneficial list to have, because we're always, I mean, it's this time of year, we're always kind of thinking about that stuff. So thank you for that. Really appreciate that. So the final thing I'm going to ask you is, so I would say that's a great tool once everybody can get it. And the action items, let's say somebody wants to spring right into action. They're now convinced they need to get on QuickBooks. What is that first thing they need to do that?
Okay, well, if you're not already on QuickBooks, we can actually extend a 30% off discount for 12 months.
Oh.
This is going to be in lieu of the 50% off for 3 months that you're going to find online through Intuit. So reach out. You can even put with the hashtag, I need QBO or something like that, and I can get a hold of you. But we can extend that discount to you for 12 months. But this first step is, if you're not already on QuickBooks, to get your QuickBooks subscription. There's 4 different subscription levels. So you're going to want to research which one fits your needs best. You can do that right on the QuickBooks website. They have a comparison tool, or of course, I can help you with that. And then once you get going, I would definitely take the time to sign up for some sort of training. You can find it in your local recreational centers. There's QuickBooks advisors all over the country. There's actually a Pro Advisor website, findaproadvisor.com. So you can look up, someone you may want to work with. Of course, we're always available, but I do think you should take that first step of learning how it's supposed to be done, so that you don't have to pay a lot of money and spend a lot of time in the future cleaning up something that you messed up because you didn't know what you didn't know.
Exactly. It's always about that. It's like if we just don't know, then there's so many things that we might have to undo. So we don't ever want that. That's never a good thing in business, right? But it happens.
Right.
And we learn that way. If we can avoid it, it's always better. So there you have it, Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. Sam Halburn, and oh my gosh, this amazing information on QuickBooks with the hashtag QB and Shine. She has a list of all the things that you could possibly deduct. We are in that season, so take advantage of this. Enter, if you're listening to this on the replay, enter hashtag QB and Shine, and she will reach out to you and get connected to you. Thank you for joining us for an episode of Waist Up.
Thanks for having me.
And we are always here on Thursdays at 11:30. Come to our next show every Thursday and bring a friend. Hey, how was that?
It was so fun.
Yeah.
I love these things. Yes, it's so fun.
You're awesome. Oh my gosh, you're natural on camera and so awesome. Thank you for being here. Really,
Thank
really.
you.
Any feedback for us? I know, so onboarding you is a little complicated because I ended up being like really slammed this last week, and I
Yeah.
didn't do you any justice as a guest. So I apologize for that, but I hope you had a good
It's
experience.
okay. It's fine because that's how my life runs all the time. Like I was like running in with no lipstick on and doing, yeah, it's fine. Totally fine. I get it.
Awesome. Awesome. I really do have to introduce you to some of the ladies that were on the show, Susie Hickson and Kristen Levine, both former clients of mine, but also really good friends. Met
Yeah.
them in Pinnacle. Susie is an attorney and Kristen Levine is a pet influencer. She has a company called Pet Living. Yeah. So I definitely would love to introduce you sometime. I'll maybe do like an
Yeah.
intro email because I think you guys all hit it off. And that's it. That was amazing. So just so you know, this will live on Facebook forever, basically evergreen. So if you ever needed to, like somebody said, well, can you give me the ABCs of QuickBooks, or should I you can always refer here if that was appropriate. And we're on iTunes, and we're on a lot of other platforms as well, but iTunes and Spotify, I believe. So we're there, and you're episode 127, QuickBooks or Quit. That's the title.
Love it. And do you still need pictures? I mean, I don't know if I ever even sent you any of that. I have just, do you need any of that? Do you need anything from me?
No.
Bio headshot? Okay.
No, we're good. I think Rick used one of your headshots from online. We had to do that to post. So it's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're okay with what we used, we're good.
So now I need you, because now I officially have my new office. This is my new office I told you about 6 months ago. I finally have it. So I would love now to actually get in touch with you and do the whole, this is all I could throw together in 2 seconds, but I would love to have your
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You have a good start.
Build my background out.
Yeah, you have a good start, but we can definitely make it fantastic. Really have the company brand stand out, and your personality too. So yeah.
So what I discovered was my team was like, I had this because I'm at an angle here, but when I put my head this way, it just says BS. And so my team was like, Sam, you have BS behind you. Is that because that's what you think about your customers? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, we want to make that the whole logo a little bit more robust, and there are definitely ways to do that. Yeah,
I'll show you. I have
Susie's still on, and she said, because we're still live, just so you know, we keep this live. We are. Yes, we're still live. We just kind of like to do a little behind the scenes for everybody. And Susie's like, oh my God.
Sorry, Susie. So I also have stuff like this that I can put up there. And I would love to, work with you and make that happen, because we've been talking about it for how much?
Yeah. How about if I DM you some options for times to just at least get on a call and see what you are, and see if it's something you that would help you. And yeah, we can do that for sure. I'd love to.
Yes. You could have told me earlier we were live, because I wouldn't have said something.
No, you didn't say anything. It was funny. That's why we.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
we actually extract a lot of bloopers from these behind the scenes, but we're not going to do that. He does
love bloopers.
Yeah, he does it. He just catches me in those really awkward things that I say sometimes, and then he'll do a little blooper reel. I think I called LinkedIn LinkedIn once, and and it was really funny. And then it just gives the people a window into behind the scenes too. So just kind of informal. So, but that's it. Rick, you want to come back up here and say goodbye to Sam and tell her how great she did?
Oh yeah, I'm back.
Yeah,
that was great. I learned a bunch of stuff on that one. So awesome.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, anytime. I would love to, be back anytime. So we can have all different types of topics, from industry specific things to nonprofits to, whatever you guys want to do with it. So
love that. I love that idea. We're always, the thing is with Basic Wardrobe, it's really about how to show up professionally and put your best face forward on camera, but also on and off camera. It's really very entrepreneurial, direct, and centered. So all these topics are really important for business owners. And so that's how I've been really able to get big, expansive, more topics, because, it's not clothes. It's about how you show up in every way in the business world. So thank you for offering that. I definitely will take you up on that.
Great. Do you have any suggestions for when I speak, sometimes I go through like Rent the Runway. Somebody just introduced me to Newly. There's lots of different rental companies that you can rent wardrobes from. So you don't have to purchase like, very, very expensive things you'll wear once or twice a year. Do you have any insight for me?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I like those renting companies. And Newly is a really more, more on trend place where you can get stuff. The problem with things like Newly is that you don't always love everything that's in your box, right? You don't always love it. And so I would recommend, I know that purchasing is, obviously you're investing, but if you can invest in basics, then you can actually make like 50 outfits out of 10 pieces. So I would recommend, instead of renting, I mean, we can do that, but like, it would be nice to have a capsule of basics that you can then mix and match. And that would include maybe, and you want to always wear solids on camera, avoid black, avoid bright whites. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually for the first time wearing a pattern, and I never wear pattern on camera. You probably shouldn't. But today I was like, you know what? I feel a little bit fierce. I'm going to show up like a cheetah.
Yeah. Okay. I love it.
But my point is, there are certain rules for the camera. We could totally talk about that in terms of what colors to wear, but you would invest like basics would be like a solid color in your brand color. We would have certain key pieces like a great blazer, a great shirt, a great dress, but we can figure out how to mix and match it. And you're already an earring girl, so that is easy to up level any outfit with. Yes. So we should talk. Well, I'll DM you and give you a couple dates, and we could just meet and we can chat about all of that.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, Sam. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Nice meeting you, Sam.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
What I was telling Sam, like when I first met her, she looked like Linda Carter. Like I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
you're Wonder Woman. And she's like, I get that all the time. I'm like, that's amazing. It's like to have, so anyway, but I forgot to ask her the 3 things. Okay, it's fine. All right. So should we do our speedy recap?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Can still hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute in a second.
Okay. If you're a business owner, you know that numbers and accounting can make you want to quit on your dream business. So, how do you stop the accounting nightmare in your business? Because that's not really what you want to focus on, so that you can run a seamless business when it comes to numbers and accounting.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yep, that'll work.
Okay. In episode 127 of start over again. In episode 127 of Waist Up Wardrobe, QuickBooks or Quit, we discuss everything you need to know about QuickBooks, and our expert gives you some hacks and secrets to some of the key features on QuickBooks. The main takeaway was, she said, reconciling your books. That is the most important thing. Not just reconciling them, but not waiting till the end of the year to reconcile them. You want to reconcile them as you go, weekly, but at least monthly. So one of the tips that she was talking about is that you want to make sure that all your apps and bank accounts are connected properly to your QuickBooks so everything downloads properly. A tool she mentioned was findaproadvisor.com. I think I'm going to start over again there from the tool.
Yeah, okay.
A tool she mentioned that you could use is findaproadvisor.com, because you can get so much more bang for your buck when you use QuickBooks if you're taught properly how to use it right from the get-go. And main takeaway, if you're not using QuickBooks yet and you think your company is ready for it, really do try it, because I was stuck in Excel nightmare until I used QuickBooks, and everything seems so much easier after that. So go out and check out QuickBooks.
Okay, you good?
Yeah, I think that's good, right? Was it
Yeah.
good enough? Okay.
Yeah.
Should we cut the feed?